kitchen today, and what I have for you is we're going to be making some bread, and in particular we're going to narrow that down to some hoagie rolls because another episode that I have for you guys is I've taken a shoulder roast and I have divided it up into thirds, and I've made 3 dishes out of that. And one of the dishes that I've made is Italian beef, and I've let that simmer in the crock pot with all the ingredients in it, and I wanted to make some homemade hoagie rolls. So the first thing that you're going to need is you're going to need 1 cup of milk, and we want to warm this milk up on the stove till it gets to about 110 degrees. And we'll keep track of that, and I have a little thermometer here that we can dip in it. You don't want it to boil, you don't want it to scald, you want it to just be nice and warm. All right, it looks like our milk has come up to about 110 degrees, so now we can start adding all the other things that we need to our bowl. You're gonna need 1 tablespoon of dry yeast. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of sugar. You're going to need 1 teaspoon of salt. You're going to need 3 tablespoons of softened butter. You're going to need 1 large egg. The thing that you're going to want to put in there is your milk, and your flour. We have 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Now the next part, you can use a stand mixer and go ahead and load that up and go ahead and get it all mixed up. I have a hand mixer, not a stand mixer, and so I'm going to push pause and go ahead and work on that, and I'll get back with you as soon as I combine all these ingredients together. So now we're over here at the hand mixer, and we're just going to give this a whirl. It's just a regular hand mixer. It's got a bread hook on the end, and we're going to go ahead and mix up all of our ingredients. All right, your dough should all come together, and now we're just going to give it a little final nudge here, and it should come together in a ball. All that flour and all the ingredients should incorporate well together, and you should be able to form a cohesive ball of dough. It should be sticky to the touch, but you shouldn't stick to it. All right, and then right behind me, I have my bread bowl. Generously oiled. I just used some regular olive oil, and we are going to put this in our bread bowl, cover it, and we're going to let it set and rise for about 45 minutes. You can see we have a nice ball of dough in here, and we're going to cover this with a dish towel. I'm going to put it up on top of my cabinets. It should double in size, and that's when you'll know we're ready for it for our next step. Okay, so the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to dump your bowl out on a nice flat surface, and you're going to roll it out, and you're going to divide it up into nice 4 portions, and you're going to just make sure that they're all like that, and we're going to put them on a jelly pan roll. And I've already got the parchment paper, and we're just going to lay these out like so. And we're going to let these rise again for about 30 minutes, and then we move on to our next step of popping them into the oven. All right, we've got our bread out of the oven, our nice hoagie rolls, and I'm going to split these open. You can just see how wonderful they are on the inside. I'm going to put those on a plate. They're very rustic looking. They're not the kind you find in the store. And we are going to now top these with our Italian beef. All right, so I made a roast the other day, and part of the roast that I used, I created an Italian beef, and it's just garlic, pepperoncini, some butter, and some beef broth. And then we're just going to put this on top of our hoagie rolls. It's made enough for 2 people because that's all we have here. You can make a whole roast and have Italian beef sandwiches for days. And then I'm gonna top this with some mozzarella and some Gruyere blend. Again, just gonna very liberal on that. And then gonna top it off with a little bit of Parmesan. And I'm going to transfer this back to my baking pan. And I will pop these in the oven for about 10 minutes or so. Let all that cheese get all melty and brown, and then I'll pop them out. Okay, so now we've plated our Italian roast beef sandwiches on our homemade hoagie rolls, and we're gonna be serving them with a side of oven fried potatoes with a side of garlic aioli.